Good afternoon.
Ciao, Belly.
Oh, welcome it. What a start to the Monday afternoon.
Oh,
it is Open Championship week. It is in Scotland.
Look at the size of that boy's head.
It is like a melon on an orange on a toothpick.
He's gonna cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow.
Woo. You gave us So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah, sorry. These are
Gate. It's in Scotland.
Yeah, these are the times where I get to let my freak flag fly.
Oh, this is the time?
Yeah.
This is the time.
Yes, this is the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll believe that.
This is the time.
Only right now, though.
Only right now. That's it.
Never any other time.
Nope, that's it.
No.
Just on the Opens.
Okay. Only during Open Championship week.
Yes.
When it's in Scotland.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. It is Rusty and Dusty because Danny Meringue is in Vegas for Las Vegas Summer League. We are hoping to get a check-in with him live from Las Vegas as the Blazers get ready to play the Philadelphia 76ers tonight.
Burned my butt.
He has, in fact, burned his butt. I don't know.
Pretty likely in Vegas. I mean, it's got to be, 115
You
down
think
there?
he's going cheeks out? You think he's going cheeks out at the pool?
I don't doubt him. I don't doubt anything with him at this point.
Just throwing that one out.
Yeah.
He's going to be going cheeks out at the pool, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Take me home, baby.
Yeah, we're hoping to check in with Danny down in Vegas today. We'll see. I don't know. There is a game, so he's not going to be all schnookered.
No, not yet. Not today.
Not today, at least. Yeah.
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah. Tomorrow. Well, there's a game tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I think tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Post game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. Danny, not the drunkest guy at the party at the Fan Golf Classic either. Last Thursday.
Yeah.
We didn't get to that.
It was pretty tame.
Yeah.
As far as what I could tell, I showed up. There was nobody hanging out outside the bar. That was a first.
Yeah. Well, that's because we were all out at the course. And they had like a rehearsal dinner there.
Oh, is that what it was?
That was starting up like in the evening time. So it was like, keep the riffraff out.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to just keep the riffraff away from this rehearsal dinner that I may or may not definitely walked right through.
Is that why there was a security detail around Danny at all times as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
All right. We got a lot that we got to get to.
Yeah.
Today. I went camping over the weekend.
Camping?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. We went with a bunch of friends, took kids out. You know, we were out on the Malala River.
Okay.
There. Near Malala.
Yeah.
Conveniently. It's an aptly named river.
Not just a clever name.
Yeah. Yeah. We went out there and you get no cell phone service. And you know how sometimes your phone will just like catch those little glimpses of service. I don't know how that works, but it'll be like going from, I'm on like the no bars, it's on the SOS, and then my phone didn't move, but it just caught service for a little bit. I wonder how that works, but it happened.
Yeah.
And then my phone just goes, like it was insane because the weekend that I am away from everything and just kind of unplugged, right?
Yeah.
An assassination attempt on the former president who is currently running for president again happens. And I was
burying the lead first off.
I was sitting there going, what is, huh?
Yeah.
And then you can't and then it's like, yeah, no, sorry, I'm not, that's all you get. So I have no idea. I just get all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened.
And so I'm like, I get like 4 alerts just right away. And I'm like, he's okay.
Yeah. Well, and then we get the big news that both Richard Simmons and Shannon Doherty died.
That is correct. Yeah. Richard Simmons dead at 76.
Man.
What a weird man Richard Simmons was. Think about his career arc, because here's where it got weird.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it got weird at the end where he disappeared for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like people were like, there were rumors that he was being held hostage.
Mm-hmm.
He'd have to come out and like have a release like, no, I'm not being held hostage. But that's, of course, what somebody being held hostage would say.
Exactly.
In
of course I'm not.
It's like, what is going on with him? And then, but for 20 years before that, he was the face of like in-home fitness.
Yeah, exactly. Sweating to the oldies.
Sweating to
the oldies. That was all about the 80s.
Short shorts, a tank top, and a little fro, man.
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
was just out there, just doing his thing on the Today Show. You'd see him. Richard Simmons got a new video coming out. I was like, what is happening here? And then he disappears for 20 years, and nobody knows what the hell happened to Richard Simmons.
Yeah, became some sort of weird recluse,
Yeah.
apparently.
Dead at 76, though.
Yeah.
And then Shannon Doherty, 53?
53, breast cancer.
Man.
Yeah, that sucks. F cancer, man.
Yeah, F cancer.
F cancer.
Yeah.
F all of them. Every brand of it, because it hits
all the brands.
It hits so many of them.
All the brands.
Yeah.
We are out on cancer.
Well, like we have in the fan family recently.
Yeah, we are
with
all
Rashad.
out with Rashad. Yeah,
it
and
sucks. Just
by the
F
way,
cancer. F all of them.
We have all of our GoFundMe's that are up. We for Rashad Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
If you missed it, Rashad has got. He had a tumor removed that was the size of a watermelon, and it was attached to his kidneys, pancreas, and spleen.
Watermelons are not small.
They are not. They are not. But our guy is going through it right now. Just got married a month ago. If you can support him, please do. I've tweeted out at Dusty_Hera. It's at I know that the Russ 503, the fan account.
Mm-hmm. Danny
We're
and
all
Dusty.
supporting our guy.
Yep, yeah, and just at the very least, just keep him in your thoughts.
Absolutely. So all
He's
cancers,
the king of good vibes.
All cancers, we're out on.
Yeah, all of them.
Assassinations and assassination attempts, we are out on as well. Whether or not you, and I was talking about this last week, and it was about like. We were talking about the HOA president who was snapped a kid's fishing rod over his knee.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and it was just last week I was going, all of a sudden that became, but that guy's a Democrat, but that guy's a Republican. And it is exhausting.
It is. It's
all
exhausting.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
How everything has become politicized. Now, we have a politician who there was an assassination attempt on his life. Whether you like Donald Trump or you do not like Donald Trump, nobody should be asking for somebody to die.
No, you're correct.
And that right there,
yeah,
we need to change the discourse in our country.
Yeah.
I mean, that truly does need to happen. I don't care which side of the aisle you are on. And look, like it's all coming out like the shooter, I don't want to get into this, but political affiliations are like, who did it?
Yeah.
No. How about we just draw a line and say no more?
We shouldn't be wishing for people to get killed.
No.
Okay? Doesn't matter what side you're on. I feel like that should be something we can all agree on.
And that would be the most American thing.
Yeah.
To do.
Don't wish for people to die.
Let's just start pulling in the same direction, maybe.
Shouldn't be that hard.
We can get S done. All right. So we're out on both of those things today.
Yeah. We're out on cancer and assassinations.
I think we've done a lot already.
Right?
We're 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
I think we've accomplished some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're out on both of those
We
things.
are bringing the world together.
Also, I'm out on unticketed fans storming gates. I'm out on that.
What happened here?
That was a deep dive that I got into yesterday.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you dove deep because I only saw a surface skimming of it. So help me out.
Oh,
when
I'll
we
get
get
it.
there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. There's a lot of finger pointing going on there.
I'm sure there is. Yeah. Pew, pew, pew.
But what I will tease this with, the fans of Columbia soccer, they maybe want to tone it down a notch or 500.
Now, okay.
Maybe they're a little hopped up and a little excited.
Was this not the
know.
same country that murdered their own player, too, for scoring an own goal in, like, the 90s?
Hold on. That wasn't their own country. That was Pablo Escobar.
Well,
but
anyway,
yes, you are correct.
But it was a Colombian, correct?
That is
All right.
That is very much correct.
Yeah. Scored an own goal and then murdered.
Same country was fighting the fans of Uruguay in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Just last week
Yeah.
as well.
All right.
We've talked
Yeah.
about both of these things.
You know what? Maybe the cocaine isn't such a good thing.
Well, I'll be damned.
I realize I'm stepping out on a ledge
Wow.
here.
Wow, Rust. No way.
I know it's weird.
Golly. Who knew?
Maybe, maybe we should all rethink that one.
You think?
Hang
You
on.
think?
I'll be right back. I gotta go take one more quick dump.
All right. We got the Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6326. Segway. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. This text says, if you want a great laugh, look up Richard Simmons on Whose Line Is It Anyway? I remember that.
I don't.
You might have to pull.
Like, is he actually on it, or is
you
it
might
somebody?
have to pull some audio.
All right,
You
let's
might
see
have to
here.
pull some audio. We have a homework assignment for us. We will remember Richard Simmons from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
YouTube right now.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go ahead and get down on that.
Oh, that's one of the first things that pops up in the YouTube search when you type in Richard Simmons. It's Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
I guess there's a reason for that.
All right, we're partying on the YouTubes and right here on the fan. Well, let's get down to it. The Blazers kicked off their Summer League slate on Saturday. Thank God for DVR because I was able to set that little recording before, and I think I'm very happy with the fact that I knew what I was getting into before I sat down and watched that game. Because, well, what two halves can do. Kling Kong debuts for the Blazers in Vegas. Overreaction Monday. What we saw from the Blazers' 7th overall pick. And really, the guys that are familiar faces that we knew would be returning. The Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert, and Justin Minaya, who played for the Blazers on Saturday. But Kling Kong made his debut, and we'll discuss it next. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Built
Portland Trailblazers saw the debut of Donovan Clingan on Saturday in a loss to the San Antonio Spurs, 83-77. Blazers came out the gate. They did not look sharp. They were trailing by a boatload, including 18 points in the third quarter. But they rallied back, made a run at it, and still ended up losing, but made it respectable in that game. And of note out of that, yesterday, the San Antonio Spurs shut down Stephon Castle for the rest of the Summer League because of a wrist sprain when he went down, tumbled down, and went on that wrist. Did not look good.
Yeah. Well,
but
look, and let's
he'll be
face it,
fine.
I mean, when it comes down to it in these Summer League games, the end result, the final score is
Health.
not what you're looking at.
Health.
That's not what you're paying attention to.
No, and look, Overreaction Monday, people are going to be all over the map with this Blazers team, especially with Donovan Clingan, the 7th overall selection. And I always will say I take Summer League with a grain of salt, whether it's Bronny James or Alex Sarr, Zach Rizachet, or Donovan Clingan down at 7. These are, I think it's fantastic because it's a way to dip your toe into what the NBA is before going against, all-stars and all-NBA guys.
Yeah.
And you saw exactly what it is with Donovan Clingan and the Blazers, especially when you have some teams have been playing down in the California League before, or Utah and Salt Lake City. You saw for the Blazers, though, a slow start. And it looked like a speed adjustment was there, especially for Donovan Clingan. And he was a little gassed early. And he was a tad slow on rotations, on closeouts. The first half, it was ugly for everybody, including the 7th overall pick. But Clingan and everyone else, it looked like the game started to slow down a little bit in that second half, right? Everything from Clingan looked sharper. In my opinion, offensively, I'm putting it all aside.
Yeah.
It is game one. And we also need to reframe this whole thing with the Blazers did not draft Donovan Clingan because of his offensive prowess.
Yeah, well, and he's also not out there on the court with many guys that he's going to be playing with.
I believe, and from what we did see, you can see the framework there where settling into a solid offensive player, viable on the offensive end, sure. But it was offensively, I take it out and I just say, I'm going to take everything Summer League with a grain of salt. But what you could see in that, everything from Clingan in that second half looked a lot better than what we saw in the first half. His athleticism isn't that of like a plus athletic big, where you're not going to be expecting him to guard, 1 through 5 or hell 3 through 5. But you see the movement, you saw his ability to screen, and look, he's a rim protector and a rebounder. And what we saw in that second half was 100% what you are going to kind of expect from him. 5 block shots, he was a rim protector, but I loved what I heard from him after the game as well, in that we saw his ability where, guys aren't going to be running circles around him. Rotations were a little bit slow. Closeouts were a little bit slow at times during that game. But the framework in the athleticism that you want to see, it's there from Donovan Clingan. And when you heard him talk after the game, I think that this is a piece that the mentality in the makeup of what the Blazers are getting is why they took him at 7 overall.
I'm hard on myself. I'm going to say nothing. I feel like maybe had attacked the glass offensively. Had a couple offensive rebounds that, we're good, but, I got to rebound the ball better. I got to, finish stronger. I got to shoot better, and, I got to be an elite rim protector.
And you saw flashes of that. But he also went on to say that, look, there were some floaters. There was one that Castle, I think in the second quarter, he kind of went through and got a floater over the top of him where he's saying, those are the plays that I need to have better timing, and that's going to take a little bit of recognition, and that is okay. When you do not have, when you're drafting a player and he's a rookie and he's in the Summer League and he is not, drafted as a scorer, as an offensive threat, it's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have eye popping. He only scored 2. He's 1 of 8, 0 for 3 from 3.
Yep.
But you sat there and you said, okay,
yeah,
we'll see what that. He said he was a shooter and he has the ability to shoot. We'll see it play out. And that's one of the things that, game one didn't see that outside shot, but you saw it's not like some broken shot where you're like, oh no, don't do that.
Right.
Just stay away from that. There's going to be lumps and there's going to be some rough road.
Yeah.
Hopefully you start seeing him settle in more offensively. You started to see the comfort even in that second half. And then you kind of take those building blocks. As this texter on the Vancouver Forward text line says, I also knew Lillard was legit based on Summer League. Yeah. But that was a guy who came into the league as this dude is a scorer. He is a bucket getter.
Yes.
Jared Bayless also looked legit in Summer League, too. He was a Summer League MVP.
Exactly. Yeah, and just because you see the good in the Summer League does not mean that that always translates, and the same with the bad. And also, when it comes to this season, look, nobody's expecting this Portland Trailblazers team to go from the fourth worst record in the league to all of a sudden be a playoff team, right? This team's going to have its lumps and it's going to have its bruises, and you didn't draft Donovan Clingan at number 7 to be a difference maker this year and take you and have you make that leap.
Donovan Clingan after the game talking about his offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no matter how poorly you play on the offensive end, that shouldn't affect your defense. Defense wins ball games, so you got to protect the rim at a high level. You got to help your team win, and that's all I want to do. So I was just trying to be the best defender, and because I knew offensively tonight was not my night.
I think that right there, Rust, and what you were talking about is with a full complement, and I don't know if we're going to even get that this year because a full complement would mean you've got shooters on the perimeter that are knockdown guys, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the offense makes sense around a guy like, and this is where Portland is at right now. They're trying to find pieces that fit together with the number 3 overall pick last year, with the number 7 overall pick this year, and then hopefully what will be a top 5 pick. And you just kind of have to build the roster and make sense around once we get that elite scorer, once we get that guy who is a creator, scorer, perimeter, and at the rim, right? The creator. That is when you go, okay, this is making sense. If you have a situation where Donovan Clingan or Anthony Simons are on the floor, it'll look a lot different defensively than what we saw on Saturday, which was, look, first half was brutal to watch.
Yeah.
That was it was like look between your fingers offensively, because you had Ryan Rupert who came out, and we were talking about Clingan looking slow on rotations. Ryan Rupert had 6 turnovers in the first half of that game. You had also Chris Murray with the most Chris Murray stat line. It doesn't matter if he's playing like in Summer League or the NBA. He'll have like 4 for 9, couple of rebounds, couple assists, be productive, 9-point game, right?
Yeah.
That's who he is, and we're hoping that we see an elevation in a next step taken. It looked very reminiscent of what we saw in the later stages of last year with Chris Murray, though. But when you don't have that bona fide score, because Justin Minaya?
Yeah.
Rupert looked far different in the second half as he did in the first half, just like Clingan did. Everybody kind of got that big exhale after that first half. Nobody was playing well in that first half of that game. And that was a brutal watch. That's why I said, having watched that on the DVR, I'm so thankful that I did that, because I read like 3 articles before I watched the game. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're going to get. This is what I'm getting myself into. It was a tough watch early. Second half, everybody looked a lot more comfortable, in Clingan and Rupert especially.
And you have to remember, too, that basically on Saturday night, he doesn't have NBA playmakers getting the ball to him.
Absolutely not.
Which is a lot of the reason why it would have been nice to see Scoot come play for a game and a half, maybe 2 games, to see what kind of a chemistry they can develop. But yeah, you don't have an NBA guy there. The only other teammates of his are Rupert and Chris Murray and Minaya. And that's, and look, those are all, to be fair, they're end of the bench guys.
Yep.
They're 11, 12, 13, 14.
And there is something that I did see, like Ryan Rupert. I think this is going to be another growth type season. And when they drafted him last year, it was like, hey, you're looking at 2 to 3 years until you figure out what you got.
And if he can turn out to be a Batum-like thing, or even I don't even care if he's just like a diet Batum.
Well,
you know what I mean?
One thing that you saw even in that game, and it translated to nothing offensively for them, but that comfort level and just the knowing what to do and where to be. If you watch away from ball, and this is something that I was watching a lot of Ryan Rupert was as the ball was kind of swinging around the floor, you saw him rotationally on the offensive side of the ball start to move and find those soft spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing a little bit of growth instead of the I'm just going to sit in the corner, I'm going to watch the ball, which we saw a lot of last year from a lot of different Portland Trailblazers. But you saw Rupert especially, and Murray has kind of always done a really good job of this, is the movement on the backside and kind of moving up, finding that soft spot, looking for the open shot and kind of that be ready position. You're seeing a little bit of growth there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a summer league game.
Yeah.
It's the first summer league game. Let's not overreact to anything that's happening here.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know the big one for me with Donovan Clingan is I'll disagree with this Vancouver Ford texter. Clingan is a white stiff, another wasted pick, zero skills on offense, and will get torched by athletic bigs.
Yeah, I don't.
That is one we're way too early
Yeah.
to tell on any of that.
Yeah.
But the offensive prowess is they didn't draft him for that.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now.
No.
We will see where he's going to be at. I'm throwing up a poll at Danny and Dusty right now. I want to get Blazer fans' feedback on it, though. Your overreaction Monday on Donovan Clingan in his debut for the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, and what's nice with these young guys that they do have there is that the difference between like a Rupert and a Chris Murray is Rupert is that like super high ceiling guy. You don't know what he can become. Chris Murray is one of those, you kind of know what he is, and he doesn't have that higher ceiling, but his floor is higher than like Rupert's floor, right? So you know what he can become. Yeah. Rupert, you've got the ideas, and the same with Clingan, because with the offense, look, he can go out and maybe he can shoot that three and stretch the offense out there, but you know that he can be a guy in the key that will make things terribly difficult for other teams.
503-864-6326. Danny and Dusty. Here's Rust with SportsCenter.
This is an Open Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Laurel Horse Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Grab your meat for grilling season and save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan, Las Vegas Summer League continues this evening for the Trailblazers, facing the 76ers. 5:30 tip on NBA TV from the Thomas & Mack Center. Elsewhere, Team USA facing Australia this morning in the USA Basketball Showcase ahead of the Paris Olympics. The final score makes it sound closer than it was, 98-92. Anthony Davis, 17 points, 14 boards, 16 for Devin Booker, 14 for Anthony Edwards. LeBron James, Joel Embiid, and Bam Adebayo, each with 10 points. Over in baseball, the Mariners finished the first half of the season on a 3-game losing streak. They're now just 1 game ahead of the Astros for the AL West lead. The Home Run Derby coming up tonight at Globe Life Field in Arlington ahead of tomorrow's MLB All-Star Game. Pete Alonso, Alec Boehm, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Teoscar Hernandez, Marcelo Zuna, Jose Ramirez, and Bobby Witt Jr. Those are your participants. That's at 5 o'clock on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Recently, a national auto
All right, we're talking Donovan Clingan, the Portland Trail Blazers Summer League debut. Losing to the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday. They got the Philadelphia 76ers coming up tonight. Games on NBA TV tonight against the Sixers from Las Vegas. 1 of 8 from the field, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc for Donovan Clingan. I will continue to go back to this. The Blazers did not draft Donovan Clingan for his offensive prowess. Didn't see it in game 1. He is a rim protector, a rebounder, and that's where he is going to get traction and start in the NBA. I think we have a good text on the Vancouver Forward text line that says, people forget he came out after sophomore season. He's still young. His offense will be a longer process, but his defensive skills and instincts will be noticeable more quickly, and I think that's what we did see.
Well, and look,
as that first half, look, the speed and his stamina, it caught up to him in that first half. You saw it. Because this is also a guy who's not used to having a long run, right? College basketball games, 40-minute games. UConn, I don't know if anybody noticed, we're beating the doors off of basically everybody all season long. Didn't play a whole heck of a lot, and he played 27 minutes in his Summer League debut where the speed is a little bit faster. I was worried about it, as you saw in the first half, but the second half, you saw it was not as big of a factor. Will it be when you have, instead of, Stephon Castle and the rest of, the Summer League squad, like, was it Bouye for San Antonio? It's going to be a little bit different when you're going up against John Morant in the likes, right?
Which, by the way, Jamari Bouye, a name that I remember from covering Pilots games with Swag on the call, because he was somewhere in the West Coast Conference, Santa Clara, San Francisco, maybe San Francisco.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Jamari
right.
Bouye.
But you got... you saw Clingan settle in that second half, and look, rim protection, rebounding. This is part of a process with the Trailblazers in drafting for when they find that guy. And we talk about this a lot on this show. Luck is involved. Danny is big on, knocking the Golden State Warriors down a peg because so much of it is luck and guys panning out and popping. And what you're seeing from Joe Cronin in the front office is they are taking the steps to fill this roster with the role players until they get that guy, right? Develop, grow, fill it with the role players to where when you find that guy and he pops, your roster makes sense in that regard. That's where they are at. It was great to see solid picks set by a big man. It was good to see. Haven't seen that in a year.
Yeah. Right.
It's good to see.
Good
All
to
right,
see.
we'll golf clap that. But the poll that is up right now at Danny and Dusty on the old Twitter bots, Donovan Clingan made his Trailblazers debut on Saturday. Your options are, I already love him. He's great. Solid start. Need to see a lot more, or, oh no. Okay. Already love him is taking in 19% of the vote. Solid start at 43%. Need to see a lot more is about 35%. And then, oh no, is 2.7%. And I put that on there because you have a lot of miserable people out there.
We know that.
Who will always just vote, oh no.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a process. I want to revisit this at the end of Summer League as well. And then we can look at it. Never overreact to one game.
No, especially in the Summer League. Because you want to know why? You want to know? Here's why you don't worry about Summer League. I have 5 words for you. Quintel Woods, Summer League MVP.
Yeah. Blazers have had some great Summer Leaguers that we all just like, that's it, dude. Future's here.
Oh, wait, was Jared Bayless also an MVP?
Jared Bayless was a Summer League MVP.
Yeah.
As this Vancouver Forward text line texter points out, Frank Mason was a co-MVP with Lillard. Nobody remembers Frank Mason. And that is, it's
Is he
Summer
related
League.
to Anthony? I don't think so.
Probably not. It's a common last name, Jeff.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Pretty common last name. It's not like Mason Akowski, where you're like, God, they might be related. No, it's just Mason. There's a lot of them out there. I wonder if he's related to the girl I went to high school with. You know? Her last name was Mason. Are you guys related? I don't know.
Was Frank Kaminsky? Was he also that draft?
No, he was a little bit
No?
after, wasn't he?
Well, what? He's 31 now. Let's see here.
Yeah, he was
2020. No, wait.
he-
Date joined 2015.
Yeah, he's a little bit after. That's like 4. And Frank Kaminsky was in college forever. He went to Wisconsin. You know, he's
Well, I mean,
He-
Lillard was drafted at 23 years old.
all right. Get your votes in on the Twitter poll at Danny and Dusty. Donovan Klingern makes his Blazer debut. Already love him. Solid start. Need to see a lot more. Or, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
I don't think we're at an oh no.
You shouldn't be at an.
I don't think we're there.
But the miserable folks out there, of course they will be.
Yeah.
Of course they will be. Hey, it is a monumentous occasion here in 17 minutes. Okay?
Ooh.
And
Do tell.
if there's anything that you need to know, it was already said over the weekend. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. 12 minutes from now, EA Sports College Football 25 goes live for the early release. The folks can start playing. The rest of the world will be July 19th.
Don't they have a different name for that in the men's world? Is it premature
It's
something?
premature release of the game.
Early release.
Or it's early. That's what you call it?
We're going back there.
Yikes. But the game was being played, and I think EA's been doing a pretty good job of getting the hype up for this. And they're rolling it all out.
Just ask Colorado.
Letting influencers kind of get their hands on the game and play it, but whether it's national members of the media or athletes. And over the weekend, a live stream with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter.
Ooh.
Playing as the Colorado Buffaloes. Remember, a lot was said about this.
I'm pretty sure they didn't say anything dumb, right?
EA Sports, by the way, the only outlet to release a top 25 poll that includes Colorado. That is actually true.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only national media outlet to have Colorado in the top 25 is EA Sports in their college football rankings, right? Well, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter on their live stream, it was Shedeur Sanders threw Colorado's offensive line under the bus. Listen to this.
Okay, bro. Why am I getting chased by?
There we go.
How? The O-line is realistic. Yes, very realistic. What you mean? Niggas can't block for nothing.
What?
They just can't block for nothing.
Eesh.
He was talking about the Colorado offensive line. He was running around with Shedeur Sanders back there, scrambling. He's like, why is everybody just bum rushing me?
Yeah.
He's like, it's realistic.
Crapping on his own guys.
Okay. Now, Travis Hunter says this is very realistic. Mind you, this is college football 25. This is for this year's roster is on the game. Shedeur Sanders tweeted out, Trav was referring to last year's gameplay. There was no last year. There was no last year's team doesn't exist on this game.
Yeah.
And
that's this year's O-line.
And herein lies the big issue that Colorado has with Deion Sanders. Every player that has transferred out, and this is guys that have transferred in and then out. There's even rumblings from guys that are on the roster that are there. Remember after the spring game when it was mandatory that the team had to, players were saying it was mandatory that they had to be at the game in the post-game concert so they could watch Shedeur perform with the rest of the team. Or on stage in a concert with Lil Wayne, I think.
Sure.
And Deion's like, yeah, no, that wasn't mandatory. All of the guys that have come through that program, even guys that are currently on the roster, say it is Shedeur, Shiloh, Travis Hunter, and then everybody else. Coaching staff will throw players under the bus. We saw it with the offensive line. Hell, the new head coach at San Diego State.
Deion's throwing guys under the bus all the time.
Yeah, he is. But Sean Lewis, the new head coach at San Diego State, he was at Mountain West Media Day. And remember, he was a head coach at Kent State who left the job as a head coach to go and be the offensive coordinator for Deion. Deion threw him under the bus and fired him in the middle of the season. He has since, and Kent State had their best years ever under Sean Lewis.
Yeah.
I think he won more games at Kent State in his short time as a head coach than they won in like the last 30 years combined.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very good young head coach. Now he's the head coach of San Diego State, and I think he's going to do a pretty damn good job. But he even said it at the Mountain West Media Days. He was like, that was an experience. Like, he didn't go the route of Deion, didn't throw Deion under the bus, but he was like, you'll learn a lot in those situations. They fired Sean Lewis, and the offense went from 32 points a game to 20 points a game after that.
Mhm.
Because it was, well, why can't you protect my son better? Well, it was the players, but throwing guys under the bus is kind of the big grind that everybody who has come in and left says about Colorado.
Yeah.
I still hope that the Dion experiment works at Colorado. I think they will be better this year than they were a year ago. One is their schedule will not be as big of a gauntlet, and the bar is only 4 games, right? But you're already seeing it, right? The little bit of divisions, and when guys say Travis in Shador and Shiloh, they get treated different than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah. Well, so okay,
You never see star players like throw their guys under the bus like that.
No. Well, the thing is, but the star players, though, a lot of the time they take on the identity of their head coach and what leads the program.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how long do we think we're entering year 2 of Dion at Colorado? How long do you think this project lasts in Boulder? Do you think it? I'm going. I think maybe through next year, and that's it.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting because Shador,
And it's going to be a tire fire. I think it will. I think it will result in just an explosion, a big ball of fire.
Shador and Travis Hunter are gone after this year.
Yeah.
And that's always been the thing is like Dion is only going to be there as long as Shador, Travis, and Shiloh are there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I agree with you in that it's probably next year.
Mm-hmm.
Or hell, he may jump after this year once those guys are gone.
Where does he go?
I don't know. Somebody will want
I'm not
want
sure.
that though. And
I don't think there's a bigger program than what Colorado is that would want to take that on.
I think there is.
Do you?
Because universities will say, all right, if we have better resources, if we start at a better place than Dion started with it, which was an absolute, and I think we do forget with Dion how bad it was under Carl Durrell at Colorado.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, you want to talk about a bare cupboard? It was equally bad as when Gary Anderson handed over the Oregon State program to Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
It was that bad. It was barren.
But
there.
so I'm not sure. I don't think I see a bigger program trying to go and take him on. It might be one that used to be big
Mm-hmm.
and is fallen on some dire
That's it
straits
right
for
there.
a while.
Mhm.
But still, it's not. I mean, and look, I mean, this was.
Or it will be an SEC team that goes, how can we start peeling a couple recruits off and get this thing in the right direction?
What I don't see is what people
Desperation.
started talking about a while ago in the last few months and saying how he's trying to parlay this into an NFL gig. That's not going to happen.
No.
I don't see how any NFL team wants to bring this on.
Well, I will tell you, he does handle it in an NFL, like the locker room and just openly throwing guys under the bus.
Yeah.
You do that because you can cut those guys.
He
and you go
tries
and
to
sign
manage it
somebody else.
NFL style, but I don't see how an NFL team wants to bring that on.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But that is a big point of contention that will continue to grow because you hear it right there. I mean, that was their little safe space live stream.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops.
Here we go. Other note from EA is Matt Brown, who he's been like championing bringing back college football for a really long time, and he's actually even like on the credits as like a thank you for the game. He tweeted out, somebody had asked him about like, hey, what does Oregon State, look like and what do they got? So he went through and he did like all of the uniform matchups and combinations, machinations that you can get from their uniforms, and then went through and started a game, and they showed Research Stadium. It's the old Research Stadium.
Ooh.
Got the old side still.
Uh-oh.
You got the new side. You got both of the end zones look finished. It's the old Research Stadium. Beat fans big mad.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And I understand that.
I
Like
get it.
after everything that they went through, like
Yeah. Well, they're already pissy enough about
they should
current things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should be
So
a
yeah, now
little
it's
fired
like,
up
oh
about
my
that.
God, are you serious?
And P1 Orange O guy says, what's really unacceptable is how EA screwed up Research Stadium and didn't update the new side and left the old side. I can tell you Beaver Nation on Twitter is not happy with EA and how they had over a year to get the new side in the game. They better fix it in an update, and if they don't, that's not cool at all. They're probably not going to put a patch in that one in. because they do like the scans of all the stadiums. And
Mhm.
like I think we also need to acknowledge that this has been years in the making,
Yeah.
and of like getting the stadium renderings and all that stuff. It does suck that for B fans, it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like this is like a source of pride here is that we got the stadium finished and now we play this brand new video game and we still don't got the new damn stadium? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But with Oregon, you have they got new uniforms. They're going to unveil another of their Generation O uniforms. They did a teaser video with Joey Harrington
Mm-hmm.
where they showed the new helmet, where they got the apple green helmet with the O on the side.
Yep.
Gone will be the wings. The rumblings are once uniforms are unveiled for Oregon, those will be in the game. Those are easier to do than a new stadium.
So it's not just a clever tagline. It's in the game.
Yeah, it's not just a.
Why can't the new Reeser be? It's in the game.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to do. A little bit harder to do. But hey, to all you folks out there that are going to play this new video game, good on you. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come over to your house and play with you because we don't have a new console.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
We're not going to. I had the conversation with my wife about it.
Uh-huh.
One, it would take up far too much of my time at home.
Yeah.
And two, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
With the kids. My daughter's 10. Like
Mhm.
she's not a video game person.
No.
My 7-year-old son would never go outside again.
Right. Exactly. Well, like I got two girls. They're 12 and 7, and so yeah, we got the Nintendo Switch, and there's their various games on there for them. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're not itching for college football 25.
No.
No.
Here's one. Here's a text on the Vancouver Ford text line. What about when we were talking about Dion? What about Clemson? With Debo's refusal to even deal with NIL, and if they lose again this year, could super overreact and hire the biggest NIL honk out there. No, I don't think that Clemson would go down that road. And look, like another down year, Clemson's going to be really damn good this year.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be good this year.
Well, and how much longer are they going to be in the ACC? How long is it before all that falls apart too?
I got some news on that.
Oh,
I got some news on that.
hey.
Because the SEC, they say it just means more.
Mm-hmm.
They opened up their media days today, and we got some audio from Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC. And he is not dipping his toe into expansion talks and does not want to be entangled in the legal battles that are going on with the ACC right now. But he gave us a couple of breadcrumbs that we can go off of. We'll get to that to start hour number 2. And also, coming up in hour number 2, history made for the Oregon State Beavers. You may be upset about Reeser Stadium in the EA football game. History was made in the Major League Baseball draft yesterday.
Ooh.
Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Look at this. We started off with, so I married an axe murderer.
Yeah.
What was the dad's name in that? Because Charlie was.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know.
But what was the dad's name? It was Charlie and.
I might have to go IMDb that son of a gun, to be honest with you.
Was it Stuart?
Oh, yeah. Stuart McKenzie.
Stuart McKenzie. So you started our first Open Championship was with Stuart McKenzie.
Yes.
And now we have Braveheart. Those are quite. I mean, you've shown some range here with these opens.
Just wait for the open of hour number 3.
All right, it is Open Championship week
for you
in Scotland. Did you see what Brooks Koepka did yesterday?
No,
on the Live Tour.
I did not.
They were playing in.
I don't think anybody else saw what happened on the Live Tour either.
Yeah, he was playing with John Rahm and Sergio Garcia yesterday, and they had the EuroLeague final. It's Spain versus England. So he's playing with 2 Spanish dudes. Koepka shows up on the tee box wearing an England jersey.
That's fantastic.
It is. That is fantastic. You know,
it's so good.
I'm in your head, Werder. Get in their head real quick.
That's so good.
He probably went out and shot an 80. But
he probably did.
Oh, I'm in your head, Werder.
All right. SEC Media Days kicked off today for college foosball season. And Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, took the podium and he dropped something that I said, I'll be damned.
We know who we are. In the Southeastern Conference, we're the one conference at this level where the name still means something. The southeastern part of the United States, where when we expanded, we actually restored historic rivalries while adding only 100 miles to the longest campus-to-campus trip our student athletes will experience.
And I went, oh, I guess you're kind of right.
Well,
I would technically I'd put Austin, Texas in like the Southwest, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll put Austin in there, but they are actually the one conference that their name makes sense. Big Ten.
You're not wrong.
Big Ten has a bajillion, trillion, million schools in it, and they go from
over $200 billion.
They go from Rutgers all the way out to Seattle, and I hate that the Big Ten does it. Well, it's the original 10 members. It's like,
plus
more, more.
Well, let's face it.
The Big 12 has now got 16 teams, and they were the Big 12 with 10 teams, and they're just powering right through it. Pac-12's got 2
institutions of higher learning.
The Atlantic Coast Conference goes from the Atlantic Coast to the Pacific Coast. None of it makes sense anymore.
No, but at least with the Southeastern Conference, they are pretty much in the Southeast, except for Texas there, which is
just the tip.
It's just the tip of the Southeast, just right on the end there. But he also, Sankey was asked time and time again about expansion, realignment, what the next move is going to be for the SEC. And he said, right now, I'm focused on our 16 teams. And he even mentioned, like, I don't want to get entangled in the legal mess that is going on with the ACC because, look, they've made no bones about it. Both Florida State and Clemson want to leave the ACC and they want to go to the SEC. They want to make that an 18-team conference, and then we can sit there and we can actually look at the Big Ten and the SEC and go, all right, just pair them up. Let's go. We can go tit for tat all the way down the board. Well, this only means, in my mind, that the SEC will be announcing very shortly that Clemson and Florida State will be joining the conference. Because remember, it was Texas A&M like fan site that spilled the beans, and I think Mississippi State did it as well, that Texas and Oklahoma were leaving the Big 12 for the SEC at SEC Media Days. There was no talk of conference realignment or expansion. Then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, Texas and Oklahoma are coming to the SEC, and they're going to start play in 2024.
Well, and if you even want to go back further, remember old, what was his name? Chip, was it Chip Brown from Orange Bloods? Yeah. And look, that Texas and Oklahoma move to the Pac-12 was a lot closer than people give it credit for.
In that, look, the ripple effect and what that did to the Pac-12, it cannot be understated enough. And
think if that would have happened.
But this is the whole thing about what the Pac-12 was trying to build, and this was the big whiff is Texas wanted an unfair advantage, and they got it with the Longhorn Network.
Yep.
The Longhorn Network gave them an unfair advantage over everybody else in the Big 12, and it's what ended up keeping the Big 12 together. And you go back and you go down the list to the university president and the athletic director. I think it was DeLes Dodds. At the time, were sitting there, and they dug their heels in, and the Pac-12 fell apart. Because, I mean, the Pac-12 would, if it was the Pac-16, and you're looking at it being the 10 original members, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and then I think Texas Tech, and there was one other in there because it wasn't A&M. There would have been staying power in the Pac-12 moving forward.
And the landscape that we have now would not exist.
No.
It would be all be completely different. You probably would still be down to, I bet at this point, probably your 4 power conferences, I bet.
That was also the idea of the Pac-12 just being so close but so far away. That was the downfall of the conference. Because Larry Scott, in controlling and owning their own network, when you don't get the Pac-16, if they would have gotten Texas and Oklahoma, then the Pac-12 network does not have carriage issues.
No,
it would have been a widespread, fully carried network, and that gamble would have paid off. Larry Scott also going down the road of, hey, we're looking at digital rights for the longest time, and saying the future of sports television is in the streaming game. We look at that now and say, well, the brand wasn't big enough with the universities that were carrying the Pac-12 to do that. You had Texas and Oklahoma to that mix. And remember, this is when USC's dealing with sanctions by the NCAA. Washington football was down. Oregon was at its peak, but everybody's like, are they going to get over the hump? And can they get to the point? Because think back to 2011. This is coming off of, playing in a national championship game for the University of Oregon. Now, there wasn't, the big brands weren't carrying the conference. UCLA continues to be down. And there wasn't a fervor for the West Coast football. And the brands that you had, it's taken them a very long time to get back to this point where if Washington is coming off of playing for a national title, if USC is relevant in coming out of sanctions that were the closest thing to the death penalty that we've seen since SMU for USC football, and now you have what Oregon is viewed as there is staying power for the program because they even had the roller coaster up and down. And it's always happened at the wrong times for the conference to have sustainability. That would have all changed had the Pac-16 actually come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, and wasn't it also, if I remember correctly, wasn't it basically USC that was the stumbling block there, and they were the ones that blocked that move of Texas and Oklahoma and
forgetting the unfair revenue shares that they were also looking for, because that was the idea is that
but then they were also the first to bolt.
No longer would the Pac-12 be, well, it was also for the same reasons that USC said, if we're going to have this thing stick together, we're not splitting the pie 12 equal ways because we deserve more than Washington State, which is what they used to get. Like the old Pac-10 media rights were that if you're on national television, if you are performing at a higher level and you are the brand that people want to watch, you will get more money than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that rubbed USC the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, so they said, fine, we'll go somewhere where we'll just lap the field here in the Pac-12. Out west, we're going to go to the Big Ten.
Well, and even back then in 2011, that was before you had basically every game on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah. The entire landscape has completely changed. And the SEC, they may be saying we're focused on our 16 that we have right now. They want to and will get to 18. Just like the NFL wants to get to 18 regular season games, they're going to get to 18 regular season games. SEC will get to 18 members of their conference.
Yeah.
It's not if, it is when that happens. And right now, Sankey is saying, I don't want to step in it, but we are inching closer and closer to that point where the ACC is about to fall apart too. And at that point, It is a free-for-all, and we talked about this last week. It could mean good things for Oregon State and Washington State as far as in order for the ACC to stay alive, they may get some membership to the ACC. It will not be one of the most powerful conferences, but it will be
a big one,
a seat at a table.
And it'll have a big footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Also, coming out of SEC Media Days, Nick Saban. Nick Saban is going to be really good at this analyst thing.
Oh, probably.
He came off the top rope today, and he said that he doesn't see Alabama in the conference championship game in the SEC this year.
Oh.
He said that he loves Jalen Milroe. He likes what Kalen DeBoer is doing there, but in the most Nick Saban way. Do you know what position group Nick Saban was responsible for, even as the head coach at Alabama?
Well, he's a defensive backs guy, isn't he?
He was hands on with the secondary, and he said, "Just don't see it in the secondary to hold up. They're not deep enough in the secondary." That's like the ultimate. Like, I'm gonna stroke my own ego here, because if I was there, we'd figure out our secondary. We'd be okay there. Yeah, we would have found a way to be all right. He says their secondary not deep enough to win the SEC this year and play in the SEC championship game. I think Saban's going to be really good because he also was firing back and forth with old Paul Feinbaum.
Pow!
He went on Get Up this morning, and they were having that conversation about what has happened over the last 6 months.
Self-serving here. Since January 10th, this has been the worst 6 months of my life without Nick Saban. I wanted to get that off my chest as we begin the college football season.
Nick, you have ruined the life of our friend Paul Feinbaum. Welcome. What is your reaction to Sir Paul?
Well, he tried to ruin mine for 17 years, so I guess we're even.
We're going to see personality out of Nick Saban.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Good.
It's
about time.
Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are the two guys that everybody was like, how do they do it? And people would always say they actually do have personality.
I'm still not sure about Belichick.
You gotta be around it long enough, and it is more of a cutting, like a little stabbing. It's not like a glancing blows, like it's a stabbing blows. Like you heard for the longest time.
A little stabby.
Nick Saban's favorite joke, he would go around and do D's nuts jokes at practice. He would get his whole thing is he would get a freshman on a D's nuts joke. Could you imagine that?
No, I had no idea about that.
Know
that is mind-boggling.
Apparently, that's his favorite. Nick Saban's go-to is to drop the D's.
Look, I am instantly now a Nick Saban fan forever. I never was before.
We're gonna see a little bit of flash out of Nick Saban. I'm here for it.
All I needed was D's nuts.
All right. Wait for it, because we might see by the end of the week after Greg Sankey says 16.
What are we going to see? D's nuts?
16. No.
Oh.
No. I hope not. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. We did see history made, though, yesterday. A huge, momentous occasion, and one mind-blowing stat. This actually, I had to reread this factoid about 3 times because it is so mind-blowing when it comes to Oregon State baseball. Next on The Fan.
Mind-boggling, isn't it?
first pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cleveland Guardians select Travis Bazzana, a second baseman from Oregon State University.
The big slugging Aussie from Oregon State, Travis Bazzana, number 1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft yesterday. We talked about this briefly on Friday?
Sure. Yeah.
That ESPN had mocked him down at 4th, and he'd been projected as a number 1 or number 2 guy, and the Cleveland Guardians fell in love with Travis Bazzana, who not only became the first ever Australian to be selected first overall, the first Australian to be selected in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft.
I think also the first second baseman to be selected first overall.
That he also is the first second baseman. And if you look at it, because the international pool for players, you basically go in, it's a bidding process, and it's kind of rare that you will have an international player be selected in the first overall or in the first round, because it goes to, you have to play college or high school baseball in the United States, obviously. Or be Puerto Rican, because it is a territory of the United States. Yep. So Bazzana becomes the first ever Aussie to be selected first overall because he came over and played college baseball here. I think the previous high was the 7th round, was the next closest for an Australian. A pretty good leap there to go to number 1 overall.
Yeah. Well, of course, in Major League Baseball draft, they have 764 rounds.
That's right. They actually cut that down. I think there's only like 30 this year.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. But they used to just go until a team didn't want to pick anymore. That's why you had like the Mike Piazza 53rd round. Pretty good favor that they called in for Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah, that one worked out okay.
Yeah, I think so. That was a good pick for the Dodgers. But Bazzana goes as a second baseman going first overall. It's hard to get a second baseman to be the number 1 overall pick because, look, the dude rakes and usually don't have a second baseman that hits the way that Bazzana does. Hits for power, hits for to get on base. He has got every tool in the bag. And for him to go number 1 overall, it's a big feather in the cap, not just to Oregon State baseball, which now you can add to the list.
Yeah.
Of number 1 overall picks.
As far as feathers in the cap, they're going for a whole headdress.
Well, this comes from Josh Warden. Josh Warden is a baseball broadcaster. He's based out of Dallas, Texas, where the draft was in Arlington, side of the All-Star game. But Warden tweeted this out, and it took me a while to get this. Because it's mind-boggling. Travis Bazzana being drafted first overall means that at least one player on every Oregon State baseball roster from 2013 to as far as 2028 has played with a number 1 overall draft pick. A 15-year run.
Wow.
Think about that, because if you have a freshman who this year was a redshirt freshman, and they go all the way through and they stay at Oregon State to 2028, there will be at least one guy on each one of those teams that has played with a number 1 overall draft pick. Think about where Oregon State baseball has come from, and under the Pat Casey era and now into the Mitch Canham era. You have got a baseball factory.
Yeah.
There's very few teams, and I love the fact that Oregon State's going to go out and they're going to play their independent baseball schedule this year, because it's going to be, all right, who wants a piece? And there's very few programs that can go out and they can do that. And Oregon State is one of them. And for Bazzana to go number 1 overall, now you run this little streak out all the way out to 2028. Hopefully it keeps on going, because that's a crazy stat when you think back and you look at the greatness that has come from Oregon State baseball, and legitimately at every position too. They have been turning out top end prospects. I think it's awesome. And at a time where good news is hard to come by when you are an Oregon State sports fan, to have that one where 2013 all the way now to 2028, you'll have at least one member of the program play with the number 1 draft pick.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool feather in the cap.
Yeah.
For the Oregon State baseball program. The other thing that you got to look at the Stars have been really damn good at Oregon State. Obviously, Adley Rutschman, who is in Dallas right now, and he's going to be playing in the All-Star game as a starter, catching for Oregon State. He went 1-1 overall. Then you also, if you go all the way back, let's see, that 2013 draft, or I guess it wouldn't be the 2013 draft. It would that be Conforto? Or was Conforto, he was a 10th overall selection.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think he was that far back, was he?
Yeah, he was the 20.
Was he?
2014 draft.
Oh, okay.
Was Conforto, but I guess you're throwing it in reverse from Adley Rutschman going in the 2019 draft, because the one guy that you can point to is Max Engelbrecht, who was on the 2013 team.
Okay.
And so I think his time at Oregon State is the number 1 that gives you from 2013. Now you can go all the 2028. Number 1 overall draft picks. Good on the Beavs. And good for Travis Bazzana. I'm interested. I hope his career is everything that it's being hyped up to be, because he's going to a very good organization right now in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at where Cleveland is at in the AL Central, they got a 4.5 game lead in the AL Central. You don't want to go to the Oakland A's, right? Who were picking 4th in this year's draft.
No, you do not.
No. You got Andres Jimenez, who's a second baseman there now. Apparently they're saying it could be like 2 years till he gets up there. But you're going to an organization that has, in recent memory, played in a World Series, losing the Chicago Cubs. They are looking as if the future might be bright there in Cleveland for the Guardians. Good for Bazzana going to a place where hopefully he can win at 1-1 overall, number 1 overall draft pick. Travis Bazzana. History made. First ever Australian to be taken in the first round. First Australian, obviously, to be taken number 1 overall. And then the first second baseman to be taken number 1 overall. And I looked back at this about a month ago, and I couldn't find even an international player outside of United States or Puerto Rico that has gone 1-1 overall. And now Bazzana, Australian, going 1-1 overall. I wonder if he can be like Paul Skeens and he can be in the major leagues by this time next year. Have you seen what Skeens has done now? Now, he was just called up. He's going to be the starter for the National League in the All-Star game.
Never has somebody made only 11 appearances before starting an All-Star game.
Have you also seen what his Cy Young odds are now?
I mean, I would assume they've got to be pretty good.
He is now the 3rd best odds to win the Cy Young as a rookie.
Behind who?
That's a very good question on the betting on the betting lines. That's a very good question. I'm imagining Chris Sale is up there. Aaron Nola's probably up there.
Let's see here. What do we got here?
Zach Wheeler maybe up there. But I just saw that cross my timeline. He is 3rd for Cy Young. Who you got?
Hang on. We're at the AL. Give me the NL here. Oh, well, this must be an old one because this has Paul Skeens way down about like the 8th best odds.
Yeah, that
this
popped
is from what is this? From the 9th, covers.com. But they've got Zach Wheeler, Chris Sale, Ranger Suarez, Tyler Glasnow, Logan Webb, Reynaldo Lopez, Max Fried.
Yeah, this is from DraftKings. On July 9th, he was plus 2,800. Today, he's plus 500.
Yeah, they got him at like plus 25 here.
Yeah.
And yeah, the plus 500 would put him at 3rd because you got Zach Wheeler at plus 180, basically, depending on which. Yeah, DraftKings here.
Yep.
Plus 180. Chris Sale was plus 210. And then you get dropped down to Ranger Suarez at plus 600.
Oh, yeah, Suarez. And you could probably just pick any of the 4 starters for the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Phillies yesterday, do you see the number of multi home runs yesterday?
No.
In Major League Baseball, 9 different players hit multiple home runs yesterday. And the Philadelphia Phillies lost to the A's 18-3. 3 different A's had multi-home run games. 3 of them. The A's. And I was having this conversation.
Are we having a real life major league season here?
I no, because they're still not good. But this is the thing about the A's. The A's, I don't know what it is about them, but they have, against really good teams, they'll just come up with wins out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then they'll just get hammered by the bad teams.
Yeah.
And then the good teams, the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 62-34.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The A's are 37-61, and they beat them 18-3. Baseball, man.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Well,
What
it's
a hell
like the
of a game.
M's. They just dropped 3 straight to the Angels.
Damn Halos. It's
Angels,
okay, though.
They're not good.
No, they're not good.
And I'm talking
But
about the Angels here. I mean, some might think I'm talking about the Mariners too, but
the good news for the Mariners in that is that the Astros lost 2 of 3 to the Rangers. So
Yeah.
it is now just a one-game lead
and
in the AL West.
It was in the span of about 2 weeks, the Mariners went from a 10-game lead down to about 2 games.
Yep.
I think it was literally 2 weeks.
Well, Astros got hot, and the Mariners, by the way, their first-round draft pick is a guy who pitches with both hands. He's a switch pitcher.
Oh, he's amphibious.
Yes, he is amphibious. He can pitch in the water and on land and with both hands. It's crazy. He does both of them.
So that's
right
wild.
there. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Because that's what the Mariners need is another pitcher, though.
Yes.
That the one thing the Mariners need
That's the big thing they're lacking is pitching. I'm not a huge baseballman, but I know this one even.
Yeah, this guy's going to lose a bunch of 1-0 games with both hands.
Yeah.
He's going to be pitching both hands, losing a bunch of 1-0 games.
Oh, man. Where's Felix Hernandez? He knows how that goes.
I still think that's crazy, though, that you can pitch effectively, and he's from Mississippi State. You can pitch both effectively with both hands.
Yeah.
Because,
I can't do anything with my left hand.
Dude, I can't wipe with my left hand. It is the damnedest thing. There's the simplest tasks I cannot do.
Yeah. Try to get me eating a bowl of cereal with a spoon in my left hand. Nope. That's not going to happen.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And look, I think that maybe we just don't have enough nuns these days that are slapping lefties and making them be right-handed. Because that's like my mom, according to you, is amphibious.
Mm-hmm.
And she can write with both hands because she's a lefty, but she went to Catholic school and they would just whack her with the ruler until she became right-handed as well. Maybe that's it.
See, my brother...
Maybe we need more nuns out there coaching baseball.
My brother's a lefty, and I remember when we were kids doing the old golf camps at the old Progress Downs in the summer, they told him that, hey, you know what? You're better off using righty clubs because then you have your dominant arm pulling your swing through.
Is your brother a good golfer now?
I have no idea. I haven't played with him.
Okay.
It's been.
Well, I mean,
the last time I played with him was at Claremont, right by our place, and the shot that I remember was on a par 3. He kind of towed it, a little worm burner, bounced off the green, went across the street, bounced off the garage door of the house, and then actually came back across the street and back onto the green again.
So the answer to my question is no.
He did birdie.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The ball came back, it bounced off the garage door and back onto the green, and he hit the putt.
God bless him. God bless him. So maybe he is a good golfer.
He's not.
All right. We need to add this to the pantheon of dumb sports injuries. We have another one. That's our worst day on the web. It's After Rust with SportsCenter.
It's Open Championship Week on The Fan.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland. An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, Las Vegas Summer League continues this evening for the Trailblazers. They face the 76ers, 5:30 tip on NBA TV from the Thomas and Mack Center. Elsewhere on the hard court, Team USA They faced Australia this morning in the USA Basketball Showcase ahead of the Paris Olympics. The final score closer than the game actually was, 98-92. Anthony Davis, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 16 for Devin Booker, and 14 for Anthony Edwards. Over in football, Fresno State football head coach Jeff Tedford announced he's stepping down due to health concerns. And on the diamond, home run derby tonight at Globe Life Field in Arlington ahead of tomorrow's MLB All-Star Game. Pete Alonso, Alec Boehm, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Teoscar Hernandez, Marcelo Zuna, Jose Ramirez, and Bobby Witt Jr. are your participants. That's at 5 o'clock on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
All right, we've got another addition to the long list of dumb athlete injuries. Today, we go down to Miami. Miami Marlins outfielder Dane Myers is going to miss quite a bit of time after fracturing his foot yesterday, or on Saturday, rather. In Saturday's game, Miami Marlins outfielder Dane Myers stepped to the plate against Cincinnati Reds, and they were losing 10-6 in the eighth inning. And on strike three, Myers had a check swing that the home plate umpire went, strike! And Derek Thomas punched him out. Myers looked for an appeal to first base, and the home plate ump said, not so fast, my friend. I called strike three. You went. You are out, my friend. The damnedest thing is that even the catcher pointed down to first base like, hey, let's get confirmation here right as the ball hit his glove. And it was still, no, not today, my friend. And Myers went ape bleepity. And he went and he threw a temper tantrum, threw his helmet down, threw his batting gloves off. He was having none of it, and he got run from the game. First of all, we should start with, do you think he went on the swing?
Well, okay, so I finally watched this video from your typical outfield position where you're behind the pitcher. It did not look like he went. It looked like he cut it short.
He did not break his hands, but his hands came forward, but the bat did not.
Once you got to the camera angle from the side across home plate, he went out clearly like way over across the home plate, and so yes, I think that he went.
Strike three, he gone. That's not where it ended. The cameras cut as Myers was going down through the dugout and into the clubhouse, where apparently upon entry to the clubhouse, Myers kicked a door and broke his foot. Now, this is a guy he's not an everyday starter.
Okay, well, lucky for him, I guess.
He's 28, and I don't know if you know this.
He got a cut.
The Miami Marlins have the worst record in the National League. And
that sounds like kind of an evergreen statement.
The second worst record in all of baseball. Only worse are the Chicago White Sox. This man may have just kicked his way right out of Major League Baseball.
Yes,
with that one.
Yeah, at least right down to AAA.
And this always gets me though. Like when you get guys that they want to throw the tantrum and then they end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because God, who was the pitcher? We've had guys trying to punch the Gatorade bottle and they get hurt. Was it Steve Sparks?
Sounds about right.
He tried to like rip a phone book in half.
Okay, yeah. Because who hasn't tried to do that among all of us?
We've had guys like trying to rip like the bullpen phone or punch the bullpen phone, break your hand. Bull Durham never punched with the throwing hand. I think we all know that one. But these are the dumb sports injuries. Never cease to amaze me.
No.
My personal favorite in game is Gus Frerotte headbutting a wall after scoring a touchdown in celebration.
Yeah.
Martin Gramatica, we remember him jumping up in the air and doing the kick.
Tearing his ACL.
That's right. Yep. You have a torn ACL doing that. This one is going to be buried in so many other dumb sports injuries because like Joel Zamaya getting hurt playing Guitar Hero. That's an all-time favorite. We've had Major League Baseball players, they seem more prone to the dumb injuries.
Who was the one that I think caught himself in the lower leg with an axe trying to chop some wood?
That was
with a hatchet.
That was a kicker, right? I think was Chris Hansen, not To Catch a Predator. Chris Hansen.
Yeah, no, not
kicker.
That one.
Chris Hansen.
Why don't you come have a seat?
Why do you have these? Why do you have these Smirnoff Ices? Are those for you?
With Jolly Ranchers.
Good Lord. That show is so creepy. So creepy. We have the infamous one, John Smoltz, who ironed his shirt while wearing it,
Yeah,
burning himself.
That one is still
Less known is Brian Anderson. You remember Brian Anderson, Diamondbacks?
Okay.
He ironed his face. He was checking to see if the iron was hot, so his choice was, I'm going to put it on my face.
Haven't we all done that at one point? No, wait, never mind.
We have.
No,
we have not.
I don't check to see if the iron is hot.
Oh God,
by pressing it on my face.
Who's the guy? He missed at games, plural. Baltimore, Cordova.
Sure, Marty.
Marty Cordova.
Hey,
Marty Cordova.
Look, the sun even shines on a dog's ass some days.
Tanning bed.
There we go. Okay, yeah, fell asleep.
Tanning bed. Yeah. I mean, falling asleep in a tanning bed is an all-timer.
Mm-hmm.
We had, who was the Brian Greasy, who fell through a glass table, tripping over his dog, I think that was.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites, though, it's never been confirmed, is the Grey Goat and Dance Dance Revolution rumor that was out there.
Yes.
That he injured himself.
By the way, back to the Brian Greasy. I knew a guy. I worked with a guy at the old Chicago, another bartender. And after he left there and moved to Colorado, he had his girlfriend stolen by Brian Greasy.
Really?
Yeah. Which I guess, I mean,
how'd that work out for
if
them?
you're going to lose a girl to somebody, it might as well be to an NFL quarterback, right? It's like, what are you going to do? What do you want? He's playing in the NFL. Jeez.
I don't know. That still hurts, though, because it'd be one thing if it was like John Elway.
I guess, yeah. It wasn't even Bob Greasy.
Yeah. Was the famous Glenn Allen Hill, too. Bad Nightmare? He had a
Yes.
He had a
Glenn Allen Hill. The guy. And the one thing I still can't get over about Glenn Allen Hill is that he has two first names, but they're both in the same first name. There's no space. There's no hyphen. It's just Glenn Allen. All one word.
I'll be damned. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one from the Vancouver Ford text line. Trevor Bauer cutting his finger on a drone propeller and missing a playoff start.
Yeah, that's not even the worst thing that Trevor Bauer did.
No. No. Dang.
Sorry. That's a bit of a tangent.
Kaz Susaki was loaded and fell and bruised a rib, blamed it on bringing luggage down the stairs. That text coming in. I wonder, like this one with Dane Myers, alcohol was not involved, right?
Sure.
I have to imagine like Brian Anderson ironing his face. I mean, alcohol was probably involved.
Has to. I mean,
the greasy
it
one.
It would be worse if it's not.
The greasy one, alcohol probably involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like with Joel Zamaya injuring yourself playing too much Guitar Hero, I'm thinking maybe weed's involved in that one.
Yeah.
You're probably just...
Could be. Well, look, let's face it. It could be weed and alcohol there. I mean...
You never know.
Let's get loaded and throw down some Van Halen.
Guitar Hero is a great idea, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That game was fun.
Mm-hmm.
They still churning those ones out?
I have no idea. I have no idea. My closest association to video games these days is on the Switch and like the Mario games and the Mario Odyssey and Origami and such. Yeah.
Dang, man.
We did buy the Bluey game not too long ago.
Of course they got that.
Yeah.
Of course they got that.
Yeah.
Dumb sports injuries are something that will never get old.
No.
Mm-hmm. Like you need them in your world because it just shows you, hey, they're one of us too.
Yeah.
They're one of us.
Exactly.
Even the most skilled of athletes, they'll get hurt doing everyday stuff too, and they're pretty dumb. When even like here, the thing with Smoltz is like I hold John Smoltz to a higher regard because he seems like he's a pretty smart guy. To iron your shirt while it is on?
Yeah, I don't. The two, you put the two of those together, ironing your shirt while it's on and testing the heat of the iron on your face.
Yeah,
I don't understand how you try either one of those. Yeah. I'm flummoxed.
All right, Dane Myers, you are on. You are on the board now as dumb sports injury, and I applaud you for it. This is a public service announcement to everybody out there. Don't kick doors. They're sturdy.
Yeah.
They are sturdy.
Well, especially probably those ones leading from the dugout into the clubhouse. I'm guessing that's got to be a metal door, a big like steel door, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Sammy Sosa got hurt sneezing too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he hurt his back sneezing.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
I've been there, man.
And then it made his face all white.
No, that's not what happened.
Oh, no?
That's not what happened there.
Okay.
No. But also don't be Plaxico Burress and go shoot yourself. That's also one that's
a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or JPP and lose your fingers in a fireworks accident.
Oh, yeah.
Or like in Zoolander, you don't want to go get yourself killed in a crazy, tragic, accidental gasoline fight.
No, that is very tragic. That was a true story. No, it was not. It was not a true story.
Not a true story.
It's not true at all. Didn't Joel Prisbilla injure his knee getting out of the shower?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, dang. Oh yeah, Kendrys Morales tore his ACL jumping on home plate, celebrating his walk-off grand slam. That from Jordan.
I do remember that one.
Well, wasn't that didn't he also? Who was it? With the Angels that had like a compound fracture doing that same thing. It should act like he'd been there before. Slide in head first. Yeah. Do a somersault. Oh man.
Well, yeah, you don't see those guys coming in with the big jump and landing right on home plate again, do you?
Roger Federer on the Vancouver Forward text line, giving his kids a bath, hurt his knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know.
Hey, I did once pull my back getting out of the minivan at the grocery store.
My first back injury was getting a car seat out of the car.
Yeah.
And it was like I wasn't pulling on it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I unbuckled it from the thing and I went to move it. And it was just like, oh.
Yep. Getting old sucks.
My back is broken. Spinal.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Frozen feet in the cryogenic tube. That Antonio Brown famously freezing his feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he had to miss some time for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Before camp.
Yeah, and then this one, when Aaron Brooks was at Oregon his freshman year, he strained his knee because his bike seat was too low.
Okay, that's just dumb.
But he looked cool though.
Strained his knee because his bike seat was too low?
Yeah. 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 Which makes me wonder what kind of bike Aaron Brooks was riding around Oregon's campus. Was he like on? Did he have
are we talking like one of those low riders even?
With the big bars up top?
Yeah. Well, did he have that, or did he even have it where it was the chain linked steering wheel on there instead of the handlebars too?
Well, I'm in my mind, he was on a BMX bike and Luke Jackson was riding on the pegs.
Sorry, I hear that in my mind, and all I can think of is John C. Reilly in Talladega Nights going, I like to picture my Jesus in a tuxedo T-shirt.
Yeah, I like to picture my Aaron Brooks on BMX bike, and Mitch Platt is riding on the pegs, looking all majestic, wearing a cape, man, and Aaron's wearing the duck head.
You can call me Nighthawk.
doing wheelies. It's awesome.
It was awesome.
It's awesome.
Bless America. Hey, we need to break because we're like basically a whole segment behind.
Whatever. Bye.
That's one draft.
Burn here. We went way over in the last one. Check out the new gear at the Fan Merch Locker at 1080thefan.com. We got Danny and Dusty Absolute Unit T-shirts that are up. Dirt and Sprague got bacon and football shirt. Also, help Mike Lynch take a swinge at against
That's
ALS.
Swing, spelled SWINJ.
With profits going towards Mike's GoFundMe account. Get your classic fan tees now at the Fan Merch Locker at 1080thefan.com. High quality tees cost just $25. All right, coming up, hour number 3. We try to catch up with Danny Meringue down in Vegas. And are we being wildly unfair to a few quarterbacks in the NFL? Next on the Fan. 5:30. There's that fat bastard.
Of course.
5:30 tonight on NBA TV. The Portland Trailblazers take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Game 2 of Summer League. Game 1 Saturday against the Spurs. Blazers end up falling short 83-77. The debut of Donovan Clingan. 27 minutes played, 1 of 8 shooting. 0 of 3 from beyond the arc. Hauled in 13 rebounds, 5 block shots, and a steal. His rim protection, his rebounding prowess, the things that the Blazers coveted in the draft evaluation process from Clingan, they all showed, especially in the second half when everybody started to settle in. That included Ryan Rupert, who had 6 first-half turnovers, cleaned it up with 0 turnovers in the second half, and the Blazers made a charge late, and a lot of it had to do with the rim protection from Donovan Clingan and his ability to rebound. We put up a poll question today. Donovan Clingan made his Trailblazers debut on Saturday. A bunch of you have voted at Danny and Dusty on Twitter. Already love him, 8% of the vote. Solid start, 49.7. We're going to need to see a lot more out of him, 37.2. And then, oh no, 5.1% of the vote. Some rational responses here. And of course, with any draft pick, and look, you don't want to overreact to any game, any singular game, Summer League or otherwise. But Donovan Clingan showed he is not a big white stiff that cannot move. Is he one of the athletic freaks at the 5 in the NBA? No. No, he's not. But he will not be outmatched, at least from an athleticism standpoint, coming out the gate. That's something that you saw. You saw also the knack for rebounding, the awareness of rim protection. As the game went on, he looked more and more comfortable, and that's why I'm excited to see tonight kind of what the speed of the game looks like for him, because it looked a little too fast early. He was a little slow on rotations early, and getting his hand up for, as he even said, the floaters through the lane after in the post game. I'm excited to see where he goes in the steps moving forward. I'm also excited to see Ryan Rupert and Chris Murray continue to develop, because those are the 3 guys that, if you are a Blazers fan, you're going to be watching this team over the course of the 82-game season that will not result in a lot of wins. We know that right now. That's the way that this roster is built.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to see growth and development from those 3 young guys, and hopefully we see that continue throughout Summer League and then heading into the season. But make sure you get your votes up at Danny and Dusty. We're going to revisit this same poll question at the end of the Summer League to kind of gauge where we're at, especially with Donovan Clingan and the rest of the guys. Let's go down to Vegas. Danny Meringue is live from Las Vegas. And a little birdie told me our mans was on the stage last night.
Ooh.
And I'm not talking at the Spearmint Rhino or the Peppermint Hippo, which we found out is in fact a thing.
It is a thing.
He found his way to the main stage somewhere last night.
Coming up, the Meringatang to the main stage.
The main stage. We're going to talk to Danny about Donovan Clingan, his debut. And I want to talk to Danny about the offensive side of his game too, because make no bones about it, they did not draft him for his offensive prowess.
No.
They drafted him as a rebounder, a rim protector, and a screen setter, which we actually saw some solid screens from the big, huh? But where do we see his game evolving to on the offensive end of the floor? Danny joins us live from Vegas next. This is Danny and Dusty on The Fan. Las Vegas, Nevada, is Danny Meringue. How you handling the 106 degrees right now, Mr. Meringue?
Hey, this is cool. This is chilled down a nice 8 degrees. We've actually had a little bit of rain here. After the game the other night, me and a couple of the media folks we ventured outside. We got down about 11 o'clock, I want to say, and we actually walked from the arena to a restaurant and didn't die.
Look at
you. Yeah, no, look at that. Just a little smattering of rain made it to where it was like bearable outside. It cooled the pavement down from a nice 120 to like maybe 100 degrees. So you could go outside and not die.
All right.
Some little things.
All right. Before we get to the news of the Portland Trailblazers debut, you got pulled up to the main stage, not at the Peppermint Rhino, but
not at the Peppermint Rhino. No. No, wife and I went and saw David Copperfield last night, and they blindly threw a Frisbee into the crowd, and it landed next to me. And I was up on stage for probably 10, 12 minutes as part of like a really long, drawn out. I don't want to ruin it for anybody else that goes out there, but it was nuts. The end of it, it was me and another guy were up there. He was from Estonia, spoke almost no English. He was really struggling with everything that was going on, but he was smiling and laughing and having a blast. But we ended up holding on to these two like giant kind of steel Roman columns. And then a 1948 Studebaker appeared above our shoulders. It was both terrifying and amazing. So, it was absolutely wild. Copperfield's, one of the OGs in the business.
Yeah,
great
how
show.
old is David Copperfield now? He's got to be like 70, right?
70-something. He's,
wow.
Look, I don't want to denigrate him, but my wife and I had the discussion. Is it a piece or is it died?
Oh, it's dyed piece.
67 years
that
old.
we're going with? Yeah. He's moving around incredibly well for his age.
Well, it's magic.
It was kind of, he was up there, spry as could be. It was like I said, it was a fun show. Getting pulled up on stage was certainly interesting. I got to say, there was a few people up there that were terrified. I think I was probably a little bit more comfortable up there than the average person, so I leaned into it, hammed it up a little bit, made my wife thoroughly embarrassed, which is fun.
Good. All right, Portland Trailblazers. They played on Saturday. Boy, that was a rough start.
Wow. Couldn't have been worse, really.
That first half was ugly. And I was saying earlier that I went camping this past weekend, so I was out of service. So I had the luxury of watching it on DVR, which
wonderful.
I'm glad that I read like 3 different rundowns of what happened in the game before, because had I just dove in and watched that thing, I would have been like, this is just brutal. But second half, it seemed like everybody settled in, from Donovan Clingan to Ryan Rupert, Justin Minaya. Everybody kind of, it seemed like everything was a little bit too fast early, and not playing in the California League or in Salt Lake City. It's a benefit to some of these other Summer League teams. What was your impression of Donovan Clingan in game 1? We've talked about this at length. They didn't bring him in for his offensive prowess, but everything else seemed as advertised, especially in that second half.
Yeah, defensively, he's really big. He's very active as a communicator. His shot blocking timing is incredible. When you see him fully extend to block a shot, I got the video. He blocked Steph Castle right in front of me. If you watch that video, Steph has a 0% chance of converting that shot. There's no angle. There's nowhere. Like the interesting thing about him, just kind of watching his timing, is that he's so big and so long, and he can allow other guys to take off first and still beat them to the top. And that was the thing that stood out to me, because you saw him block shots. He ended up with 5 for the game, but there was probably 4 or 5 different drives where guys normally would have gone at the rim, but he was just there, and they're like, they just kind of deviated, took a right turn to Albuquerque and reset the offense. He bothered probably 4 or 5 other shots. He rebounded incredibly well. There was one offensive rebound where I mentioned on Twitter, it was like big brother, little brother. He just grabbed it at the top before anybody else even had a chance to jump up and get it, and he just took it with one hand. I was like, oh my God. So his size is just truly, he's in the 1% in the NBA. Wemby's obviously bigger in the height realm, but I mean, when you're talking about the combination of height, reach, weight, it's him, it's Edie now, and it's Joel Embiid. Like those are your true absolute monsters in the game. Day one, he is that big on the floor.
And he doesn't flash the athleticism of a guy that's eye popping, right? As a 5, but with everything that you said, that timing, that feel for the game, his athleticism was not a concern for me after watching, because I saw even at the top of the arc setting some picks that we've seen bigs have a tough time doing. He has that kind of feel where he can slide into place, and it was nice to see some solid picks set up at the top of the arc.
Yeah, I asked a couple of the guys about that in practice yesterday, and I was like, what's it like to play with Klingon? And Dustin Mania mentioned, he's like, the picks he sets, man, he goes, you know the defender's going to be in trail, because he's just going to crush guys, and that's a unique thing that I think guys are trying to get a little bit more of a feel for. You saw them in the first half; they did a lot of DHO stuff, but I think they just naturally kind of simplified things in the second half, and they just went like straight pick and roll. Unfortunately, the point guard play for the Blazers in that first half, and really the all game, was pretty poor. I'm hoping that they can iron some of that stuff out here tonight against the 76ers. But the thing that I wanted to see from him offensively, if at all, is not his shooting, is how well they could get him involved around the rim. And I think they threw 6 different lobs, and they were all terrible passes. They never gave him an opportunity to go do anything with it. So I'm hoping that they can find that timing, because he is so big and that opportunity is there. And I was glad that they were trying to find it, but they just never really could get in rhythm with him. So, and obviously the shooting came up, and everybody all week and leading into this, like, no, he can really shoot it. His first shot looked fine. The other two, not so much. The second one he missed short and wide by 3 feet. It was tough. But everybody's going to talk about that stuff. I don't care. I genuinely, like, whether or not he shoots it does not matter to me. Not even just this year, but just at all. I was talking to a couple of executives in the league, and I was asking them, what's your thought about Donovan? And one of the things that just kind of kept popping up, like, if he hits his shot, great, but like, unless he takes 4 threes a game, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is going to, like, him getting in pick and rolls as Scoot Henderson is not going to change unless he turns into a guy who takes volume threes. And that's just, I don't think that's in the cards for him, particularly in the first couple of years in the league.
All right, let's talk about some of the other guys. Ryan Rupert, who I was really excited to see, came out, and he was part of that very clunky first half. 6 turnovers in that first half, and it was like, cover your eyes, kind of looking between your fingers, watching in the first half. He's settled in that second half as well.
Yes.
Where are we seeing from a growth standpoint in Rupert, who I was watching him, his movement away from the ball was something that I really appreciated seeing, because we saw deer in headlights from a lot of these young guys last year, where the ball would swing around to the opposite side of the floor and they just stay in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see, at least from my perspective, just from watching game 1, you're starting to see a little bit more comfortability, and it looks like the game is starting to click on where I need to be and what I need to do.
100%. His basketball IQ is grown, and he's grown physically. He's put on 5-10 pounds. I was talking to him about that. He's like, yeah, I know my body. I'm a much more comfortable space, which has helped him with his ball control, like being physically stronger on the ball, driving to the rim. Like I think he finished 37% of his shots in the paint last year. It was really poor. A lot of that had to do with just not being strong enough on the ball and not being strong enough physically to get to the rim and clear that space, because he's a 19-year-old, 190-pound kid. He started to flash some handles early in that first game, and then he lost the ball, and I was like, oops. He was going up against Jamari Bouye, who the Blazers brought in for a 10-day last year and spent some time with the remix. And I think because of that, I think Jamari probably understood that Roops' handle is not that tight. And he was really pestering. I think he got 2 steals on him. And so I think that kind of flustered Roops. He ended up with, like you said, 6 turnovers in the first half. He simplified it. He got on the ball quick, made quick decisions. It was dribble, pass, shoot very quickly. And I think that simplification changed everything, because he was 1 of 3 with 6 turnovers in the first half. And I want to say he finished the second half. I think he had 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in just the second half alone.
Yes.
He flipped the script entirely, and he was like, that's it. That's the guy that I want to see. And last year you saw him knock down threes. And I was like, yeah, okay, I believe he can shoot the ball, but like you didn't see the other box score stuff. Already in game one, you saw him rebounding. Already in game one, you saw him getting assists. Like already, you're seeing him expand his game, and that's what you want to see out of a guy, especially a really young guy who's a project. Like let's see the expansion, let's see the growth, not only physically but mentally, the understanding. And then him putting the ball on the floor in the second half, he drove to the rim and put his shoulder down, created separation, finished with his left hand. It was like, okay, that's a little something. There's something new there. And so those are the kind of things I'm looking for. Same with Chris Murray. I wanted to see him shoot it a little bit more in game one.
Yeah. It was
but
the
he got
ultimate
to the rim really well.
It was the ultimate Chris Murray game. Like it just seems like no matter who he's playing against, whether it's in the NBA or in the NBA Summer League, it's like 4 of 9, consistent, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, give you a little bit of everything. I was kind of hoping to see him take over a little bit more. Is that something that was talked about after the game and kind of as we head towards game 2 tonight at 5:30 our time?
Yeah, I think that's actually the case. And I think that was the down game because there was a close scrimmage against the Chinese national team the day before. And everybody came out of there screaming about Chris. And I'm not just talking about the PR folks. The other players, the other coaches, the other executives, the folks in the Chinese national team were kind of like, eyebrows raised. As I understand it, Chris went 4 of 4 from 3, including an off-the-dribble pull-up going to his left, kind of leaning into the corner. And basically looked like the best player on the floor. And I was hoping that would kind of be a springboard into that game kind of situation. It wasn't that he, fell short. I just think it wasn't as impactful as I personally was hoping for.
Yeah. All right. What other notes did you take away from game 1 as we head into game 2 tonight against Philly from this Blazers team as you've been down there in Vegas?
I mean, really, it's just those 3 guys. It's Chris, it's Ryan, it's Donovan. I mean, if you want to put Justin Minaya in that group too, his 3-point shot, he's put a ton of work in with Gilbert, one of their player development coaches. And you can tell that there's real growth, there's real change. He knocked down 2 threes in that game on a catch and shoot, and he looked really nice. His form looks noticeably different from 6 months ago. And for those that watched, Alex Reese, I mean, he balled out in that game. He's on the Rip City remix. If he has another game or 2 like this down in Summer League, don't be surprised if somebody snags him with a 2-way deal. I know that's not like really impactful, but like this is what Summer League's about. It's for guys that don't have contracts to go get deals. If he goes out there tonight and does what he does, don't be surprised if that's a guy that they lose. On the flip side, watching this game tonight, Jared McCain, who the Blazers brought in and playing for the 76ers, he was incredible in his first game. If you watch him tonight in this game, don't be surprised if you see somebody who, if you squint real close, who looks his game resembles a ton of C.J. McCollum.
All right. Well, stay cool down there. It's 106
That's
degrees.
not going to happen. I'm literally going outside and hopping on an Uber right now to go to the arena.
Then go
and I'm going to die.
Then have some cool drinks after the game and have a great time. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Catch you guys later.
All right, buddy. Stay out of Vegas shows, okay? If you get on the main stage again, it better be at the Peppermint Hippo.
I mean, come on. You know me.
All right. Danny Meringue, live from Vegas Summer League. Thanks for your time, bud.
That's you, buddy.
All right, basketball coverage on the Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile, and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. All right, are we maybe being a little unfair? Next on the Fan.
This is an Open Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Your favorite spot for island grinds now has 3 locations: Woodstock, Burnside, and new in Beaverton, and always online at ate-oh-ate.com. First on the Fan. Las Vegas Summer League does continue this evening for the Trailblazers facing the 76ers. 5:30 tip on NBA TV from the Thomas and Mack Center. Elsewhere, Team USA facing Australia this morning in the USA Basketball Showcase ahead of the Paris Olympics. The final score makes it sound closer than it was, 98-92. Anthony Davis with 17 points, 14 rebounds, 16 for Devin Booker, 14 for Anthony Edwards. LeBron James, Joel Embiid, and Bam Adebayo each with 10 points. Fresno State football head coach Jeff Tedford announced this morning he is stepping down due to health concerns. Over on the Diamond, the Mariners finished the first half of the season on a 3-game losing streak. They're now just 1 game ahead of the Astros for the AL West lead. And Home Run Derby tonight at Globe Life Field in Arlington ahead of tomorrow's MLB All-Star Game. Pete Alonso, Alec Boehm, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Teoscar Hernandez, Marcelo Ozuna, Jose Ramirez, and Bobby Witt Jr. are your participants. That's at 5 o'clock on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's coming, The Fan at Big Ten Media Day with the coaches and players you want to hear. July 23rd through the 25th on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
I got bad news for all the gamers out there. You see what happened with the EA Sports college football launch?
No.
Within 5 minutes of the new college football game launching digitally for the early access, EA Sports servers crashed. If only they would have known that this would be coming.
Right?
Wow.
Boy, yeah, if only there was some kind of announcement about when it was going to go live.
Yeah. So the rest of the game comes out July 19th. I just saw this during the break. Fans shelled out an additional $30 for the premium edition that gets you a couple days free. So they knew exactly how many people would be trying to play, like right at this time. That's the thing that blows my mind. Is like when you know it's happening, you know exactly what you need to be ready for, and they're like, uh-oh. We could have never anticipated this to happen. Well, yeah, of course everybody's going to log in at once. What are we doing here? So that's the latest on the EA Sports game. We do have an update. Our poll question, at Danny and Dusty, Donovan Clingan, Trailblazers debut Saturday. Already love him, 7.9%. 49.6% say solid start. 37.1% need a lot more we need to see here, and the no is at 5.4%. That was a good conversation we had with Danny just a minute ago, because you don't want to be reactionary to what you see from Donovan Clingan, what you see
in
from
the first summer league
these
game.
guys.
Are you sure?
Golly, man.
Are we sure this isn't a harbinger for the rest of his career?
In this town, maybe. But all of these things will take time, right? And I thought we saw a lot of really good stuff out of him in game one. Not in the first half, but you're getting the flashes of what the Blazers drafted, and it's going to be a long process. Don't overreact to one game. But go vote. Go vote on that poll.
Hey, look, he grabbed a lot of rebounds.
Sure did, Bob. He's going to have a lot of opportunities for those, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of rebounds, because ball not go in bucket.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds.
Yeah, we have some comments on the poll question. Sam says, I figured he'd be a defensive beast no matter what. Only question was if he could contribute anything on offense. It's one summer league game, but to put it generously, there are still questions. Yes, that's a level-headed response to that. I like that. He wasn't brought in for offense, but to anchor the defense of this young team for future seasons. I thought he did a good job for his first ever pro run without a legit point guard. Once he gets in the NBA, gets weight room experience, he's going to be a defensive monster. We hope that that's what happens.
And that's one of the main things we have to remember is right now he's not exactly surrounded by NBA players.
One thing that I will say is a concern is we've talked about his path to the NBA. High school state champion, two-time national champion in college, and now he's going to a team where the goal is not to win basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect somebody, right? When your life, your career has been one that you just win. And you want guys like that. You want to surround your team with guys like that. But this path of the rebuild and how long does it take? That's a massive question for me. And to see, does he get beat down and worn out by the fact that this team's not going to win games? That happens to people.
Yeah.
And if you have a guy with this mindset, the idea and the hope is that he starts dragging other people up to his level, right? The whole chop wood, carry water, where pressure is not real. It is you sink down to the level of your preparations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring in guys from winning cultures who that's all they care about is winning, and they prepare in that manner. You hope that helps the growth, development, and kind of pushes everybody forward. It's not going to happen this year, though. No. And one thing that you can see and that you hope for is that the mindset of Joe Cronin in the front office is getting pieces together for hopefully it's next year's draft in 2025 when you get that guy who is the creator, scorer, shooter, and your dog on the offensive end, you have supported him with the pieces around him developmentally. That makes sense from a winning perspective in basketball, because that was one thing that the Olshey era of the Blazers, you looked at the roster and you say, this does not make sense. This does not make sense to winning at a high level in the NBA. You're starting to see those pieces come together, but you're missing that one major piece, which is the Lillard type, right?
Yeah.
And they do not have that, and you're hoping that next year you can draft a guy and the patience will pay off in this building process. That's way easier said than done, and we've seen a lot of teams fail at that in the NBA.
Yeah.
But
look,
not a bad start.
If it was as easy as just finding the right guy to go be your number one piece, then just, everybody would just go do it, right?
The Detroit Pistons would not exist in the way that they do.
Yeah.
All right?
Exactly.
Hey, home run derbies tonight.
Sweet.
Do we care?
Chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah, we got I think it's gonna be a good night for baseball.
I think they're making look, it seems like they change the damn home run derby every year and the rules.
Yeah.
I think this year they're starting to maybe get back towards some good rules.
Let's get to that next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Home run derby tonight, Rust. I got, well, 2 meatheads in my house, not just one, that are going to be watching the home run derby. Chicks dig the long ball.
They do.
And this whole thing, like, everybody's like, oh, home run derby's not as cool as it once was. No, it's because we were all kids when we watched the home run derby, and it was awesome. And now,
the
like,
old days watching like Harmon Killebrew in the black and white.
dude, that was not me. But for you, yeah.
Okay, look, they weren't first run when I was watching them, you jerk. What do you think I am, swag?
But it's like made for kids,
Yeah.
right? And they've been tinkering with the format, whatever.
Mhm.
It's gotten really hard to watch, though, even for everybody else. So they tinkered with the format again. And so this year, you do not have, it's not seeded 1 through 8 like it was a year ago. So you'll have the first round, all 8 players will get 3 minutes or 40 pitches.
Okay.
Which I think is a good one. Like, because we were seeing in 3 minutes, like, it was so rapid fire. The ball wouldn't even, like, the ball would land and then it's coming at you again.
It was not watchable.
You get a little bit more time now. I was reading an article saying that the fewest pitches that were seen last year in any round was 43. The fewest.
The fewest.
So now you have 3 minutes or 40 pitches, whichever one comes first in that first round.
Mhm.
And then from there, they're going to go and you have the semifinals where they're going to go head to head, right?
Okay.
So you get the 3 minutes. If you hit a ball 425 feet or further,
Mhm.
you get a bonus, which is 3 outs after the 3 minutes is up.
Gotcha.
So then you get 3 outs like it's old school and you can hit.
Yeah. See, I just like the old days of just the 10 outs.
10 outs and you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what? It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so yeah.
But then you were at that point though. This is why they have the 3 minute rule. Is that you had guys taking forever up there, taking like long breaks in between,
not swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want cuts, and so you'll have that for the first 2 rounds, and then the finals is 27 pitches.
Okay.
So because like they were saying that guys were complaining, man. We're up there for so long. We're taking so many hacks. Somebody's going to get hurt doing this.
Mhm.
So you go 40 pitches, 27 pitches.
Well, and how many guys have just ruined the second half of their season after the home run derby too?
Yeah, I don't know how
can't
much
hit.
credence there is to that, but I mean, there's got to be some.
It seems like that's always a storyline.
I think they're going at it the right way though. They got a bunch of young bucks in it that are going to be fun to watch, right? Like you got Gunnar Henderson from the Orioles that's in
Mhm.
it. Alec Baum from the third baseman from the Phillies. Pete Alonso's going for his 3rd home run